Welcome, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Tuesday, August 19th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread for today? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are the Five of Wands in its upright, in combination with the Knight of Wands in its reversal. Let's talk a little bit about the energy right now, okay? Because, one of the things that we're going to keep on talking about is we are going through a retrograde season. It is a season of retrogrades. We got a lot of energy retrograding right now. And the thing we have to be conscientious about, is the energy is retrograding in Aries, okay? It can make you feel very temperamental. It can, and the thing we have to be conscientious about today is there's some energy combinations that are more difficult than others, okay? So let me walk you through, if you're feeling super sensitive right now, okay, let me walk you through a little bit why that may be. Okay, we've got a bunch of listen to me. All the planets right now in Aries are retrograding. There is not a single thing in Aries right now that is not retrograding. So that can create a lot of frustration. It can create a lot of energetic irritation. It can create a lot of that feeling, a lot of that pugnaciousness is what I kind of like to describe it as. It's a little bit of a pugnacious kind of energy. And then on top of that, okay, we've already got Jupiter and Venus in Cancer. Okay, now the thing with Jupiter and Venus both being in Cancer is those are big, those planets dwell in the space of our feelings. Okay, Jupiter is often about our sense of self. Venus is about our, the love we hold to things, okay? So I want you to recognize, and I'm not saying right now that something that you're feeling isn't like it's working through, but it's like it's creating a lot of that feeling of intensification, if you will. And one of the reasons that may feel more intense right now is because we also have the moon is in Cancer. Now, it's not going to stay in Cancer. I believe it's moving into Leo tomorrow, but I want you to just be conscientious right now, particularly and especially if you're feeling a lot of hypersensitivity upon things. Because again, the retrograde energy can be helpful. It can help us work through things. It can help us identify what we're working to heal upon. But it's very important, and it's very conscientious that we make sure that we recognize and identify that when we're working through something, we don't let the energy of the retrograde get in our way as it relates. Now and this is why it's so important right now, as it relates to feeling an over proportionality of emotionality towards something that isn't big versus something that is an energetic standard. Okay. Why are we seeing this right now? Because again, I told you there's a lot of culmination that we're identifying right now as it relates to healthy relationship patterns. I see even now there's a lot of those relationships that are moving deeper in, like even in the midst of this, I see either energy and separation being able to resolve what is and is not healable versus the energy moving deep, versus energy that even within this intensity are moving deeper into partnership. And that's why I said the temperance relationships that are coming together in energy like this, they feel so strong because it's working through something in such a way that it doesn't allow it to get the better of the self, but instead being able to articulate upon the emotionality in the space of, and I keep on getting, when we're feeling that, the ability to articulate through it versus reacting to it is what allows the context of being able to do so in order to heal it. Now, the reason that this is so fundamental right now, you'll recall, has to do with the fact that one of the major lessons that we see is coming through upon this retrograde cycle is the recognized understanding of the difference between what is energetically solvable in the context of time versus what is not. And why do we see that this is so important right now? Because the messages that we're getting right now with Neptune and Saturn that are retrograding in such proximity to each other, it's not the fact that time heals all wounds. Time allows the ability of being able to understand the energetic problem, right? Time is not a fixer. Time is an energetic healer. And the reason that time is a healer is because with time brings perspective to things. And in the modality of that, it often helps us understand the quality and nature of the emotions that we carried about things. Now, what is the disparity or the difference there? And it's to say, this is why we have to do the work of filtering through our own emotions to understand what are the emotions that we honor versus times like this, like the energy we feel where we feel super hypersensitive about something, is the ability to sort through the emotionality, right? And I'll tell you right now, it's not the fact that there aren't some resolutions that are happening in this energy, but I'll tell you right now, the context of the resolution is working through these lessons. Because here's the thing about it. When we are building into the context of time and we have a lot of feelings about something, but the feelings did not feel like they were necessary, right? The place by which we understand, and often the feelings that are unnecessary are the spaces where it feels like our ego gets in the way, because we understand that the ego sometimes bring forth emotion to protect the self in spaces that feel like they're energetically unnecessary. So what we're effectively identifying and recognizing here is, in that modality, the gift that time gives in allowing perspective to something is the ability to see when we are doing, like when we had emotions that were blowing things out of energetic proportion. And this is often the gift that time gives us in order to heal something, because it's the observation that we can give to another, asking for forgiveness in those modalities that allows the ability to be able to energetically resolve and move through something. But you'll understand that in that space, it is the emotions that we carried that felt like they were disproportional or unnecessary. At the same time, in the same space of that, we understand that the opposite also occurs, because in the modality of experiencing a lot of emotions upon something in the space of an energetic standard, and this is how we can usually tell the difference. We hate to bring our emotions to it. We hate to bring our emotions to it when we're trying to hold an energetic standard, but sometimes we have no choice, because often in the space of holding an energetic standard, right, the ability to give voice to it allows for the context of emotionality to occur. But this is also how time heals things, because in those moments that we feel bad, and that's what's wild about it. Sometimes we feel bad because we had to bring emotions to a standard issue, but that's because often the reason we bring emotions to a standard issue is because a boundary is being crossed. And that's why we see that for a lot of the energy, again, time heals that, because it doesn't erase the space by which one feels the emotionality that you brought forth to something, but rather it validates it by giving you understanding of the self, by giving you even more meaning as to why that emotionality was so energetically necessary. And that's why I keep on seeing that there's a lot of There's a lot of healing that is occurring right now as it relates to the healthy emotions that we bring forth when it feels like a standard is not being energetically respected. But this is why I also see that there may be some fundamental closing out of unhealthy cycles, because you can imagine, you understand what's happening right now. If one person has been healing and feeling more energetically fortified in the space of their own emotions as it relates to the energetic standard, right? And if another person returns back at that time, almost expecting that time was going to resolve something for them, the space of almost saying, like, are you done with those pesky emotions? It creates the understanding or the observation of the difference between someone that wants to progress forward and heal something from a productive space versus the energy that is effectively waiting for time to energetically dissolve a standard that would be akin to building into a relationship of desperation. And that's what I keep on hearing. Remember, this is temperance energy right now. This is temperance energy. This is the observation of recognizing and identifying the ability of what makes healthy foundations to strong relationships is not one that is akin to a feeling of energetic desperation. And that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of these new relationships right now, that ability of understanding, right? Taking that energetic approach, being able to recognize and identify what feels affirming, what feels energetically like resolving. This is the space by which we see and recognize that a lot of these, I'm going to tell you, there's either some energy in separation right now that is articulating upon, right? I can see the energy almost like working through the energetic frustration of either recognizing and identifying something that has not changed, but validates their own journey in terms of healing the self, or these are relationships or circumstances or situations where there are deepening of relationships that are coming through because it's the relief and release of the recognition and understanding of working through the context of the adaptability of something that feels energetically resolving. But even in the context of being energetically resolved, what we're effectively witnessing is that space by which the energy is able to not just articulate upon the energetic direction that they're moving upon in terms of how they feel about something, but they're also making the choices that affirm that energetic commitment. So that's what I keep on seeing. And that's what I even see even now. There may be a deepening of those energetic connections that are occurring in that way via the offering advice to one another, being able to articulate upon what that is. There's a lot of that energetic discovery point that we see, and there's a lot of that space. I keep on hearing there's a lot of that strengthening as it was of the energetic resolve because it's being articulated in the relief of the energy feeling that work. Now, for the energy moving deeper into divine union right now, those magician partnerships, center card for today's spread, we've got here the Lover's card in its reversal. Now, it's very intriguing that we're seeing in relationality to some of that work that we're observing during this time. These magician partnerships, remember, it was the ability to feel the authentic self that finds a home in the relationship, the ability to feel that authenticity of self that allows the context by which another person is able to feel at home. And what's interesting about a lot of those relationships right now is I see the fact that there are a lot of those timelines that are progressing forward. There's a lot of that rapidity that's being brought into something, because for a lot of these relationships, the rushing, like the moving through into something, it almost, I keep on hearing it's the desire to move something deeper into connection with the understanding that moving it deeper is inconsequential. Like, that's why I keep on seeing it. It's the this is not the relationship that is perseverating upon moving something deeper into partnership. It just doesn't feel necessary to energetically wait because they feel so energetically sure in the relationship. But that's why we keep on seeing that for a lot of these relationships, working through those experiences, that understanding and that adaptability, the ability to articulate and define it. What's interesting about it is I see that the hard part has to do with helping others understand it, is what I keep on seeing. Because for a lot of these circumstances or situations, the ability of like surprise, like I told you, there's a little bit of this surprise energy there, almost trying to help another understand like why something is moving so quickly. Because you'll recall these relationships only started up, I want to say they started up in March, right? We saw the magician partnership cycle was coming together between the time of the solstice period up until the time of Mercury and Venus stationing direct behind Neptune. But that's why I keep on seeing energy like almost articulating surprise, and another person saying, I've never been so energetically sure of something. Like it's almost like the energy having to work through a little bit of that surprise and related to the energy surrounding partnership. Now, this brings us to the energy deep within divine union right now, clarification. And I told you for this type of energy right now, this is the most difficult. Like this type of energy right now, it's not allowing for the progressing into partnership so much as it's articulating upon the work within the self. Can I get the fourth and fifth cards of our 5-card spread today? We've got here, we've got our 3 of Wands in its reversal in combination with our 8 of Wands in its reversal. So what are we effectively identifying that's occurring right now for a lot of the energy that's deep within divine union? I want to say, I feel like this type of energy right now may feel most akin to energetically not, I keep on hearing, not allowing the intensity of the energy of the retrograde to trigger one back into unhealthy cycles or unhealthy patterns of thought. What's interesting that we're effectively identifying and recognizing with a lot of the energy that we're seeing right now in this retrograde is, I told you, it's a combination of Chiron also being in retrograde right now. The old wounds that feel like they energetically re-emerge. But what's beautiful about that, and what we're seeing with a lot of these energies that are deep within divine union, is the ability to recognize or work through an old wound, something that, again, something that one has carried with oneself for a long portion of time, but being able to bring the proportionality of perspective to something, which is archetypal of the energy that we're experiencing right now. It's a combination of working through that Aquarian full moon energy that we discussed. This is a lot of the energy that is working through a problem or working through a frustration of the self by not getting the over-focused on the self, but stepping back and being able to have the gift of energetic perspective. Because this is what happens when we're able to heal the egoic space. It's the observation of being able to recognize and identify and not being too hard on the self in the process. And that's why I'm going to say this again. If this energy is getting to you in that capacity, make sure that you're working on feeling energetically stable right now. Because I wish I could tell you that this type of energy, the intensity that we're feeling right now, is going to tone down, but it's actually potentially going to ramp up because we've got some eclipse season. We've got eclipse season coming on top of the retrograde, which can create a lot more intensity because I like to point out, like eclipses are amplifiers. They make it more energetically intense to a certain degree. It doesn't necessarily change the energy. Clarification right now between our 5 of Wands in its upright in combination with our Knight of Wands in its reversal. We've got here the Hanged Man in its upright. And it's interesting too because the card was effectively sticking to the table. So it was coming from the bottom of the deck. I need to point out one of the things that's helping us through this cycle right now is the fact that Pluto is actually in retrograde. Because I keep on describing the thing with Pluto in retrograde that keeps on cracking me up. Pluto in retrograde is a lot like a haunted house in the summertime. It's the best way I can describe it. It feels incongruous. It's working through the incongruity of something that used to energetically bother us that doesn't energetically impact us anymore. It's a lot of that space. Like I would not be surprised if you're going through those moments where you're looking at something and being like the old version of self would have been like, "Mah!" But then the new version of self is just kind of like moving through something to a certain extent because it's the space by which I keep on hearing that is a sign. And like, that's what I mean. We got a lot of planets in retrograde. That is what happens to energetic warriors. I'm looking for something. No, I don't have time, skeleton. Excuse me. I gotta look. I no. Yes, you're very scary. It's like that type of energy. It's like working through something that would have been and now you're just kind of like it's working in the space of just feeling the confidence of the self. And so I keep on seeing one of the things that's helpful with energy like this is it can help you finding energetic finesse. And what is finesse? Finesse is fineness. Finesse is fineness. I told you we're going through temperance cycles right now in partnership. And a lot of the energy that we see with temperance is working upon fineness because, again, when we sift through things, we're able to refine and identify and do something in a better way. And that's why, again, we don't get too hard on ourselves when we're doing that type of work. We just recognize and identify. And I keep on hearing, when we feel frustration, we fortify with a new lesson. That is how you that is what fineness is, right? When you feel a frustration, you create a new lesson, right? It's the identification point of being able to energetically fine tune something to a certain extent. So what we're effectively identifying that's occurring right now, and what do we see that's happening for a lot of the, I'm telling you right now, a lot of these new relationships that are forming right now, I just keep on seeing that work, like I keep on seeing for the energy, working like either energy, I've got 3 different modalities right now in separation. I've got energy that are potentially having conversations as it relates to the disproportionality of an emotion that was brought forth to a circumstance or situation, right? That is being able to identify and recognize progress. I also see spaces or places right now where the identification or articulation of the frustration, the absolute valid frustration of holding emotion towards an energetic standard and another person coming back towards it, expecting it to be dissolved instead of finding the resolve to work through something. I keep on hearing we don't take vacations from standards. You can't go away from a standard and come back and be like, do you still got that standard? Be like, yeah, the standard's a standard. It's a standard. It doesn't go anywhere. But that's why, because when we're building into the space of being energetically healthy and we allow for the context of understanding that rejection is an illusion, the important thing to understand when we're feeling energetically emotional towards something is whether there's an energetic standard that we're holding in accordance with the emotionality of it, because that's where our emotions become validated. Our emotions are not validated in spaces where we feel disproportional, the egoic space where we overblow something because we're feeling emotional about it without the context of the perspective of the self in the process. So that's why we're seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work. This is what I meant in relationality to a lot of those spaces or relationships, feeling that release or relief for being able to be in an energetic relationship with someone. And I like this so much. It is the identification point, the recognition, if you will, of working towards a manifestation goal. But what's beautiful about the manifestation goal that we're effectively or energetically seeing is understanding the context of, and this is why I keep on hearing like these relationships right now are feeling so much relief, because it is the relief in being able to recognize and identify what it means to move towards an embodied manifestation, which is what I keep on seeing. There was potentially that anxiety point in relationality to working through some of those energetic connections right now, in the difference between articulating upon something versus finding that, I keep on hearing, the energy that was strong enough to embody the manifestation as it relates to what it is that they were healing from. This brings us to a lot of the energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now. Clarification between our Knight of Wands and its reversal and our Lover's card and its reversal. One card to clarify, please. We've got here the 8 of Cups in its reversal. So what are we effectively identifying and recognizing with the 8 of Cups in its reversal? So I keep on seeing that this is I keep on hearing the problem right now for the energy moving deeper into divine union, those magician partnerships, is other people's tea. It's other people's tea. I see a bunch of energy. Remember how I articulated that there may be a lot of energy right now. I told you I would not be surprised if there's a lot of like surprise proposals that are happening right now, or there's a lot of the expedition point as it relates to healthy relationships moving forward. These magician partnerships are just like boom, 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 like they're very, very quick is what I keep on seeing. And what's significant about those partnerships is also the observation, and I keep on saying it's now working through the disambiguation of the energy outside of the energetic partnership. I keep on hearing the energy right now, like navigating situations where I'm hearing, isn't this a little quick? And I keep on hearing the energy saying it's not quick. Because I keep on hearing it's not quick because I'm not sick, which is the space by which another person is saying, I've never been healthier. I've never been so energetically sure of something. And that's why I keep on seeing that there's a lot of that elation, because someone is trying to articulate upon the fact that they're not doing something. They're not advancing something from a point of desperation, but rather doing so from a space of excitement. This brings us to a lot of the energy deep within Divine Union right now, clarification between our Lovers card in its reversal and our Three of Wands in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Queen of Cups. Oh, this is the Cancerian energy that we're talking about right now. Everybody's deep in their feels. Everybody's deep in their feels. Okay, before you do anything today, and I'm going to tell you right now, I would not be surprised if there's energy right now that's navigating this type of energy and making energetic fool of themselves. And here's the thing about it. How do we articulate making an energetic fool of the self? We become an energetic fool of the self when we become disproportionate as it relates to the emotionality that we're bringing forth towards something that doesn't feel like it's energetically logical, right? That's what I want you to make sure that you are not doing with energy like this, okay? Because I keep on hearing having strong emotions in the space by which we are articulating a standard is never foolish. It's actually quite wise. But sometimes it's hard to see that wisdom until you get the perspective of time, because sometimes we feel angry in the moment that we get emotional when we're holding an energetic standard, but that is literally the higher self protecting the self. It's the higher self protecting the self in the context of understanding where our standards reside and abide, right? And they don't go anywhere. And this is why time can sometimes feel like it heals us, because it's the energy that when we move away from something and we are emotional, we're like, yeah, I still don't feel emotional about it. And I can write a whole primer on why. I can tell you all the reasons why I feel emotional about that, right? It's like, how much time do you have? But when we're feeling, and this is why we have to be very conscientious, when we get too caught up in the emotions of the ego, right? When we're getting too caught up in the emotions of the ego, you have to remember the ego is the defense mechanism of the soul. Right? It wants to rise up. It's like, it's all stressed out, and it wants to defend the self when it doesn't feel energetically necessary to do so. And this is why often in those modalities where that occurs, we sometimes feel, as we progress forward, a lot of energetic remorse around situations of that nature. Because why? The healthy energetic body understands the overproportionality of the emotion that we bring to something that was not important. Something that was not important, something that was not necessarily, it wasn't like, and again, here's the thing, we all have bad moments like that, right? And the ability to be able to recognize and identify that also allows the context by which we're able to energetically heal it, because we're able to resolve it within ourselves. We're able to understand it better. So I keep on seeing, like, for a lot of the energy right now, if this energy feels like it's taking a lot of that intensification on the self, I want you to remember the message that we had that was coming through when Mercury was retrograding in Leo, which is, have you tried putting a little bit of compassion on that? Have you tried putting a little tiny bit of compassion on it? And that's and again, compassion isn't niceness. Compassion isn't niceness. Compassion is our passion that we are able to communicate. Compassion. The passion that we're able to communicate is the articulation point of why something has energetic meaning to us. Continuing to get clarification, and that's what I keep on seeing that's happening right now for the energy deep within Divine Union. I told you, there's a little bit of this hands on the hip energy that I'm getting right now for the energy deep within Divine Union, which is why I kept on hearing for a lot of that energy right now. I keep on hearing, I keep on hearing, If you can't bring your silence, into breath, then you need to energetically resolve it. That's what I keep on seeing, because I keep on seeing that there's something happening right now for energy deep within divine union as it relates to working through energetic. And like, remember how I said that the energy coming into divine union is working through audible static? I keep on hearing that there's something about the energy deep within divine union working through quiet static. But this is why we don't pay attention to quiet static, because quiet static is passive aggressiveness. And if there isn't the context by which we feel comfortable bringing our frustration to the surface, that's literally the identification of the work that we need to do upon the self and within the self. Continuing to get clarification between our Three of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Eight of Wands in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. We've got here our Seven of Wands in its upright. So for a lot of the energy right now, I want to describe this. For like a lot of the energy deep, like a lot of the energy working through this right now, and I keep on seeing like the retrograde's real. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we're all energetically feeling it, right? And that's what I mean in terms of like continuing to allow for compassion to help guide you through that feeling of energetic frustration. Because I keep on hearing it's not about bringing niceness to things. In fact, this is what we talk about. Niceness is sometimes not courteous. Niceness is sometimes not courteous. The space by which we understand and recognize that compassion is the ability to communicate our energetic frustration because it energetically fortifies us. We understand that often compassion is also in correlation with frustration because, again, compassion is communicating upon something that we energetically care about, but in a way that makes logical sense. So that's what I keep on seeing, making sure that as long as you're feeling a sensitivity about something right now, that you're able, you can figure out, you can do that process to understand, because what we want to avoid you doing right now with energy like this is why I keep on, like, this is why we keep on hearing everybody talking about like crashing out in this energy, because you feel so much intensification that you just feel overwhelmed by it. And then you say something, and then you take it out on somebody. You know, you make it someone else's problem. That's what I keep on saying. Don't do that. Don't do that in this energy right now, okay? Continuing to get clarification between, and if you do, it's okay. Take accountability for it, okay? Continuing to get clarification between our Hanged Man in its reversal in combination with our Eight of Cups in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with our Queen of Pentacles in its reversal. So let's talk about this. The Queen of Pentacles in its reversal. How do we describe this best? It's working. I keep on hearing it's working through energetic processes by which we understand what feels like it is healthy, or what feels like it is energetically supportive, or what feels like it is fortifying. And what's interesting about this type of energy that we're seeing right now, and I'm going to tell you right now, you know, we were experiencing a little bit of this type of energy. I need to point this out. The energy that we're feeling right now was very similar to when we were going through this cycle and the moon was in Sagittarius, right? Because, and I need to point this out, when we were going through this energetic cycle and the moon was in Sagittarius, it made us feel, again, I tell you, all the energy in Aries can make us feel very pugnacious. It's a little bit of that, like, you know what I mean? Like it's just the Aries energy. It's a little bit of that pugnaciousness. And that's why I said, like, when I was like strap in, when we had the moon in Sagittarius during the retrograde, because then you've got you got the pugnaciousness that often we experience with Aries energy, and then you've got the trimey energy that often Sag energy brings to things. So this is similar, but in a more emotional way is the best way I can describe it. Because the thing about it is, you got to understand, we've got a bunch of energy right now in Cancer, okay? And Cancer, and we've got all the planets that often navigate emotions hanging out in Cancer right now, Okay, Jupiter is big on emotions. It's about the self. It's working through the context of the self. Venus is about the things we care about. And they're sitting in Cancer, which is like it can create a little bit of that desire, like being very deep in the feels, right? And then we've got a bunch of that pugnaciousness, right? Then we've got the pugnaciousness of every single thing in Aries right now that is retrograding. So then you're feeling and you're feeling like you want to do something. And then just to add a little cherry on top of all of that energy, the moon just moved into Cancer, which is like, hey, do you want to feel sadder about it? It's like, do you want to feel more vulnerable about it? It's like, it's a lot of that type of energy. So that's why I keep on saying working through the lessons that have been coming through with this energy, which is understanding the validation point of feelings. And the truth is, I know this is hard to hear. I'll hold your hand when I say this to you. Not all feelings that we feel are energetically valid because sometimes the ego brings out feelings to protect the self that are disproportional to the situation. And that's why when we're doing healthy work, right? When we're doing the healthy work of the self, we sort through the emotions to understand the direction that the work needs to go. If it's an inside problem, which is usually one that you feel silly articulating to another person, that's like usually the buzzer as to something that you need to work on in here. Or if it's something that can be articulated and shared and resolved, that would be an outside problem. So I keep on seeing, and that's what I mean in terms of like a lot of relationships. That's why I told you some of these relationships right now, these new energy, I'm telling you, I'm just calling it, guys. These relationships that are coming together right now are solid as a rock. They are rock solid foundations. There's a lot of this energy right now. Like this is the energy that says like it's not about emotions. It's understanding. It's understanding the context of where the emotions come from. Good direction sense. Continuing on this, moving towards the energy right now, and I told you, and the magician partnerships, they're going through the same process right now in terms of others arguing about their direction, is what I keep on hearing. Continuing to get clarification right now between our Eight of Cups in its reversal in combination with the Queen of Cups in its upright. Clarification coming through right now. Bum, bum, bum. Here and he, oh man. Okay, listen. Let me work. Oh man. Okay. All right. Listen. Where are all my magician partnerships up? I know what's happening right now for the energy that's magician partnership. So remember, I told you. There's something going on with these magician partnerships as it relates. Remember, okay. Oh, remember when I was telling you about working through chirality problems? The fact that something can look very similar to something, but in a completely different way. So I'm just keep on seeing that for a lot of these relationships, the ability to want to move forward, right? The ability, I keep on hearing, the ability to move something forward with energetic confidence can sometimes feel very much similar from the outside if you're not within it to moving in the same way as desperation. Okay, this is what's hard, is what I keep on seeing. So for a lot of this energy right now, remember when I was articulating upon the space by which the energy is potentially moving or advancing a timeline because they feel so energetically sure and restored in the context of the relationship? I almost see the energy having to work through the advancement of those timelines surrounding around energy that's navigating and making sure that it's something that they're doing from a space of healing, something energetically healthy versus something that would be articulated upon desperation, which is the desire to fix something, is what I keep on seeing. And that's why I feel like there's a lot of the energy that's almost having to articulate and speak towards the energetic past to a certain extent, but in the context or in the ability of being able to amplify and articulate their own energetic sureness about something. So that's what I told you. I see even now, like I told you, it's like working through the frustration of another person's misconception, but being able to amplify it by articulating upon the nuanced difference between something that wasn't supportive to the self versus something that is. Continuing to get clarification between our Queen of Cups in its upright and the Seven of Swords in its upright. Seven of Wands in its upright, correction. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Five of Pentacles in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about the Five of Pentacles energy. And that's what I mean, like the Five of Pentacles in its reversal. This is exactly what we want to be able to see. Because for a lot of the energy right now that is navigating through, like a lot of the energy navigating through that work is what we're energetically seeing right now. There's something that is fundamental and important that we are observing in relationality to, I keep on seeing the observation of working through. I keep on hearing for the energy right now, deep, like coming into divine union, it's working on loud static. For the energy that's deep within divine union right now, it's working through quiet static. Because you'll remember that for a lot of those relationships, these were effectively those chariot partnerships that we articulated upon. The ability to, I keep on hearing, the ability to articulate upon something that has meaning to the self, the ability to speak upon it, the ability to feel energetically fortified by it. This is why I keep on seeing that for a lot of those spaces or relationships, the ability to amplify and articulate upon I keep on seeing the expression of being able to, I keep on hearing there's a lot of energy right now deep within divine union that is working on communicating from a place of compassion while also simultaneously feeling energetic frustration towards the quietude that is amplified, that is not articulated, because I keep on hearing frustration that is not articulated is often the identification point of the source upon where we need to heal or work upon something. And that's what I keep on seeing. It's almost like the energy that's deep within divine union that articulates upon everything that can be healed, so long as there's the context by which you're able to have a supportive conversation on it, is what I keep on hearing. Right? And there's a lot of that space. I keep on hearing there's a lot of that space that is almost like feeling through this type of energy, the frustration point or the irritation of navigating upon circumstances or situations wherein it doesn't feel like that level or degree of openness can be articulated upon, is what I keep on hearing. I keep on hearing communication allows the context by which we are able to restore or heal anything. But this is why we have to understand that the thing we have to be so conscientious about or worried about as it relates to the spiritual and emotional health of ourselves is when we start getting passive aggressive about things. I keep on hearing never are we more sick than when we're energetically passive aggressive, because it's that ability of feeling energetically passive aggressive that doesn't allow the space by which we're able to heal or amplify or restore something, is all I keep on hearing. I keep on hearing, it's like I keep on hearing the passive aggressiveness is what we need to work upon resolving, because I keep on hearing it's like it's not. I keep on hearing it's like you're spinning it's like a spinning top in your own head. Continuing to get clarification between our Queen of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with the Four of Swords in its reversal. We're going to continue on that for the energy deep within divine union. Yeah, especially with the 10 of Wands in its reversal. It's interesting too, because what we're effectively seeing that's occurring right now for the energy that is deep within divine union is I keep on recognizing that there's something that is very energetically important that has to do, there's like a conversation that's coming through in relationality to how unhealthy passive aggressiveness is, right? Because I keep on hearing and that's the thing about it. Like, that's a conversation with compassion. Like, when our compassion, like, it's okay to be aggressive about things so long as there's a reason to articulate why we care about something. Compassion lives in the passion that we can communicate, right? So the passion is energetically healthy when it's something that feels like it's fortifying to the self, right? It's the articulation, a point of being able to amplify why something is energetically important. But that's why we have to be very conscientious when we start getting passive aggressive about things, because that is often indicative of a place we need to do shadow work, right? It's like, what are you doing down there, buddy? You know what I mean? It's giving it's a lot of the space by which we understand because what is passive aggressive versus saying, I'm feeling insecure and I'm making it my mission to make it your problem. Like, that's what passive aggressiveness is. Passive aggressiveness is having the moment of saying, I'm feeling insecure and I'm going to make it your energetic problem. But when we're working on being in a space of nourishing, right, we understand that we all feel that insecurity. And then and honestly, when we talk about the insecurity, when we talk about the vulnerability, when we understand that there's nothing unhealthy about talking about the fact that we feel energetically vulnerable about things, now we've got something to work with. So that's what I keep on seeing. Like I told you, the thing about this retrograde is it's helping you understand where compassion lives, but also where compassion doesn't live. Right? It's like it's the understanding. It's like I keep on seeing. It's like it's helping us understand that is what the work is. And when we see spaces where there isn't compassion, like, that's something we got to work on, is what I keep on seeing. So for a lot of the energy, like, working through that to a certain extent, I feel like, and that's what I meant in terms of some of these relationships that are coming together right now that are feeling that wash of release and relief. Because if these are relationships where they have been hurt by someone who taught, like I keep on hearing, articulated the manifestation goal, right? Talked a lot about what they desired to do, like in relationality to what they're working on healing, but then move back and we see this all, like, we all have these moments. We articulate upon it, and then we move in the opposite direction. I feel like that is the frustration that is energetically communicated via a lot of these energetic relationships. It's the adaptability point. It's the recognition by which another person is able. I keep on seeing it's the energy that just like almost like I keep on seeing it breathes a sigh of relief because it's the space by which everything becomes energetically possible. But also in the same exact context, the adaptability of being able to bring something forth in such a way that they're able to resolve what it is not, or what it is that they're energetically healing from. So I just keep on seeing there's a lot of that energetic restoration that is occurring in the context of that work. Now, continuing upon that, for a lot of the energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now, clarification between our Four of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Five of Pentacles in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify? Clarification coming through with the Star card, and we're actually going to be studying this card next month in our Tarot Church classes. That class will be held on Wednesday, September 17th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. But one of the things that we're identifying and recognizing that's happening right now, speaking towards a lot of the energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now, is the amplification and the articulation upon what one is working to energetically resolve. And everything I keep on seeing that is occurring in the context of that right now, one of the things that I'm identifying has to do with the energy that's moving deeper into divine union, being able to amplify and articulate to others outside of energetic connection what something energetically means to them. And so I keep on hearing that for a lot of the energy, like working through frustrating but fortifying conversations is also helping them recognize and be able to navigate forward from circumstances and situations from the past, because I keep on seeing like that's more of that combination point of understanding the work of the retrograde, right? Always understanding retrograde sometimes bring things back, either tangibly, spiritually, or energetically. The ability to see something coming back towards the context of the self, being able to articulate upon it, but then being able to divine upon why something is different from something that one went through in a past experience. So there's a lot of that work that I'm potentially seeing right now as it relates to communicating upon the emotionality of energetic connections, even as a lot of these relationships are moving more expeditiously than others would have I keep wondering than others would have anticipated. While for a lot of the energy right now, deep within divine union, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, a lot of the work that we are recognizing and identifying that is occurring in this context has to do with navigating and recognizing, working, I keep on hearing working through the quiet static, as it were, of others. I keep on hearing of others' misconceptions, of other wounds. I keep on seeing there's a lot of this energy right now that is working into the context of building into the space of understanding and recognizing how we heal from trust. And I keep on hearing too that even in the context of healing in the space of trust, the adaptability point of being able to, I keep on seeing, working through an old wound, right? Working through an old trauma, but then being able to, again, bring that energetic perspective to something, feeling that supportive vibration in being able to amplify and articulate upon something, but also being able to recognize the environment by which one is able to build upon that healthy perspective. I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work, like this is the energy deep within divine union that is, I keep on hearing, like working through a lot of old wounds, but being able to articulate upon the nuances of it in order to fine tune the relationship in a way that feels like it's energetically fortifying to the self in the process. This brings us to the final card for today's spread between our 10 of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Star card in its upright. We've got here our 6 of Wands in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about the energy that we're experiencing right now, especially in the context of the 6 of Wands in its reversal, because the 6 of Wands in its reversal is actually very important here. One of the things that we have to understand, and this is what I mean about working through the sensitivity of this energy, okay? This is a type of energy where like small things that would typically not really bother the self, they feel like they amplify greater, okay? Like this type of energy right now, it's very, I gotta describe it. We are going through like a retrograde that's kind of like an eclipse energy, but it's like, it's a very, very specific energy that we're moving through. And I'm going to just walk you through it one more time to help you navigate some of that energetic sensitivity point. Okay. I want you to think about the context right now as you're navigating circumstances, that we've got a lot of energy in Aries, which can create a lot of feeling of pugnaciousness, right? We've got a lot of Cancer energy that is here, that talks a lot about communicating upon our own, I keep on hearing, communicating upon our hypersensitivity upon things, right? So the ability or the recognition point to be able to amplify and articulate upon things in that way, right? It allows, I keep on hearing, it allows for a lot of the ability to fortify upon healthy communication. But I keep on hearing, you have to make sure if you're working through a lot of the surfeit of emotionality today, being able to understand and refine upon what it is that you feel energetically emotional about. Like that observational point by which we're able to communicate upon why something has so much significant meaning to the self. That is what allows us to fortify and build upon things in a stronger way. Now, for a lot of the energy right now in separation, I either see that this is energy that is healing from something profoundly, but healing from something profoundly in the context of being able to articulate and express specifically why something is or is not okay. Right? The identification point. That's what I meant about some cycles potentially closing out here while others are energetically opening, because it's the observation that, again, time does not resolve things. Time gives us perspective. So I either see that there are either endings of fundamental unhealthy cycles that are occurring right now, but I keep on hearing, by being able to comprehensively articulate to another person what one sees is happening, right? Like almost being, I see like it's the energy being like, let me just show you like what I energetically see there that's allowing for the space by which something is able to be resolved, right? I also see a lot of these new energetic relationships that are occurring right now in the same modality. It's the relief and the release that we bring forth to a situation whereby everything becomes possible, specifically and particularly because it's the ability to amplify and articulate upon. I keep on seeing, like, I almost keep on hearing these relationships that are coming together right now. They're breathing a sigh of relief, because the sigh of relief that they're breathing upon is the understanding and the recognition of moving towards a manifestation goal, but not just articulating upon it, but moving in the direction of it. While for a lot of the energy right now that is deep within divine union, this is like where the energy that's moving deeper into divine union, those magician partnerships, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work right now, I keep on seeing this is communicating upon or building upon that sense of navigating others. I keep on hearing it's healthy static is what I'm kind of getting to a certain extent, right? Like that's what's interesting about a lot of those relationships that are moving deeper into connection right now. The reason I keep on hearing that it's healthy static, as it were, it's the observation of being able to energetically articulate upon something in such a way that I keep on seeing the energy is able to navigate through I keep on hearing allowing the space or the context of being able to help another person understand the moving forward of an energetic timeline because of that energetic sureness, as opposed to working through the worry of past experience. While for a lot of the energy right now that is deep within divine union, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work right now, it is working through quiet static. It is working through the frustrations of the self. It is working through the doubts within the self. It is being able to heal something in a profound fashion. But one of the things I keep on seeing is I keep on hearing for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, it's more of the conversation that says everything is energetically solvable so long as we're able to energetically articulate upon it. Because I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, remember, these are the chariot relationships. So the ability of feeling that stabilization point, it's more of a conversation that's occurring in that modality that is helping the energy sort through what is achievable. But like I keep on hearing, what is energetically achievable by means of being able to restore or articulate upon something versus experiences or situations of the past that one is working to heal from, is what I keep on hearing. It's like the old wounds that come up, but there's energetic resolution because it's a conversation that occurs that allows something to be, I keep on hearing, allows something to be like navigated. And like I keep on seeing, it's like working through an old wound and then seeing how easy it can be when it's energetically resolved. Bottom of the deck on today's reading is, we've got here the 10 of Pentacles in its reversal. So what are we effectively navigating right now in relationality The one thing I want to stress right now with energy like this is it can create a lot of hypersensitivity as it relates to, how do I describe this best? Don't be reading into don't be reading into don't be over reading into things, is what I keep on, like, honestly, that's what I got to tell you right now. Like, honestly, I got to tell you right now, don't be over reading into things, because I keep on seeing that there's something about this type of energy that it's giving me, it's like imagine an energetic library where like the slightest thing creates like a lot of like energy. So that's the type of energy that we're dealing with right now. Don't let it get to you, is what I keep on seeing, because I keep on seeing when you start over internalizing things, it's just like I keep, especially with the Cancerian, like with so much of this Cancerian energy, it can create a lot of that space that like it wants to, like, I keep on hearing it, like it wants to create that space that you feel like you over fear or over worry about things. Understand, our compassion is articulating upon our vulnerability, right? When we understand that we all feel energetically vulnerable, it allows us the opportunity in order to energetically heal through something. So I almost see that for like a little bit of the energy doing that work, that adaptability, right? The ability to kind of move through something, but also I keep on hearing like allowing compassion to smooth through energetic awkwardness. That is what I keep on hearing. That is the context by which we allow the vibration of gentleness into things. So keep that, like, think about that a lot over the next couple of days, because we still got, I'm going to tell you right now, like this Cancerian energy that we're experiencing, it can create a lot of hypersensitivity about stuff. So make sure that I keep on hearing, it's not, and I keep on hearing, it's, if you're feeling energetically hypersensitive about something, we can typically articulate upon it rather than allowing it to, I keep on hearing, getting you too much in one's own headspace. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you so much for being here and receiving these messages. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my site. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site. So I encourage you to do it there. A couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the Tower card. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, September 17th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. I will be continuing our studies on the tarot with a focus on the Star card. If you would like to become part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my Substack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a paid subscriber, have access to over 9 hours, as a paid monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Class Archive. Now, it's not necessary for you to catch up, but if you wanted to catch up on the classes, now is a great time to join, because you'd have access to all of the course materials. And if you were to become a founding member, you'd have access to the full library, which you could take about 4.25 classes each week, and you'd be all cut up in terms of our next class. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything we have studied or are learning thus far. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive a discount on the whole year's worth of classes, you will also receive full access, as I mentioned, to the entirety of the Tarot Church Library Archive. That's access to over 15 hours worth of material in an ever-expanding library. You'll also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to study, like to work through where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best impact moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining our classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. I also post my Mystic Meditation articles there, which give you updates on what we've been seeing energetically in the cards. We just wrote one recently on the Aquarian full moon. I'll be releasing one shortly on the new moon that we've got coming up in just a few days. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my students that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to now offer dream interpretation readings. You can purchase these per dream or as a series. If you purchase the series, I would encourage you to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again